Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Maleficent 2 bombed. It bombed at the box office. This shouldn't surprise anyone who's been paying attention.
I mean, I'm not surprised at all.
So we're going to talk about Maleficent 2 bombing. We're going to talk about some weirdness around Rotten Tomatoes with this movie. We're going to talk about how the Joker did this weekend compared to Maleficent. And then we're going to talk about a rumor regarding Mulan. But I have to wonder after this if Disney isn't going to be in full-on freak out again, because this is, like, for all the hits, you hear about their hits this year. They had Lion King, they had Aladdin, of course they had Endgame and Spider-Man, which is technically Sony's, but they also had some high-profile duds. Dumbo bombed. Maleficent 2 bombed harder than Dumbo. Before that, last year, they had Wrinkle in Time and
Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
Nutcracker bombed. So Disney's not hitting it out of the park every time. So I'm thinking that their big hits are basically compensating for movies like this that don't perform.
Well, I just think people are sick to death of this stupid live action. You know, there's nothing original. And then you get like this stuff and it's live action. And she's Maleficent, Mistress of Evil or whatever. And she's never evil. No, I didn't see the new one. I didn't, but I know I've read about what the premise was. I've not seen it. I'm not going to see it. I don't give a shit about it, to be honest with you. I am not going to see this movie.
No, I don't like the first one. I don't like that they made her a sympathetic, misunderstood villain. She's pure evil.
She's supposed to be like the leader of the villains.
Yeah, she's like the baddest baddie that Disney has, and they turned her into a misunderstood kind of anti-hero, and I didn't like that.
No.
So before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're hoping for 100,000 subs soon. We're at like 68,000. You guys have been awesome. We do hey. We do talk about pop culture. We do talk about animation. We talk about Disney. We talk about Disney because they own freaking everything. They own everything, and we're going to talk about this. So this is coming from Scott Mendelson at Forbes. Some other sites were a little more polite. Scott Mendelson's like, no, it bombed. It totally bombed.
Well, they're going to say, well, the 117 million overseas is pretty good. 150 million global debut is pretty good. They're going to argue that. I guarantee you.
Well, this just goes to show, again, why they're banking so heavily on the Chinese audience. Why they're going to try, Disney, if you watched our previous video, they're going to try to create their own Chinese Star Wars audience, because American audiences are tired of Disney Star Wars. So Maleficent, Mistress of Evil topped the box office this weekend, but it's another example of how rank can be arbitrary if the raw numbers aren't big enough. The $185 million flick earned just $36 million in its opening weekend, a far cry from the first Maleficent, $69 million 5 years ago, and Dumbo, which was a flop at $46 million.
It wasn't very good.
Dumbo was a flop. Yes, Walt Disney was banking on an overseas bailout.
I think they do that a lot.
They do, but that is not yet a done deal. Bombed in Japan. Japan's a big market for Maleficent, for Disney live action movies too, and it bombed. It bombed in Japan with around 3.2 million this weekend, even though the first Maleficent earned 67 million in Japan 5 years. Holy hell. So it only got $3 million in Japan, but the first Maleficent made $67 million in Japan opening weekend. That's not bad. I
think we're just sick of it. And plus, it just didn't look good. And then after the first one, everybody wanted, Maleficent the evil villain. And that's not what you got. So, of course, they didn't go back.
As feared, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil became the latest victim of the 5 years later sequel curse. I don't believe that. I think what it is we get disappointing sequels, or the first movie got a lot of buzz, and people went to go see it, and then they're like, oh, that was kind of balls, I don't really care. And Maleficent, like, I know Maleficent, the character of Maleficent's really big in Japan. It might have been the same thing, like, we don't want a sympathetic
Maleficent. They said that it's, they're comparing it to the 5 years after, like, the Lego Movie 2, Pacific Rim Uprising. I'll give you those two. Godzilla King of the Monsters, I totally disagree, because it was actually really good, and I think that was a media shitstorm to try to tank it.
And Godzilla, from my understanding, now I'm sure we'll have people in the comments correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, Godzilla King of the Monsters is actually doing very, very well on home video, kind of like Alita.
It was really good. I mean, it did not need more people. It had tons of people in it. Bullshit.
Yeah, so Maleficent, despite mixed and negative reviews and a tumultuous production, so they had to do reshoots, and we're going to talk about that.
That seems to be a common thread with Disney lately.
I think what this is, I think what this is with the, well, this is the original Maleficent, but I think what happens with Disney is they have these target windows. Instead of being like the movie, when the movie gets done and the movie is ready, we'll release the movie. This is like, no, we're going to plan these movies out like 5, 6, 7 years in advance. And, you know, even if the movie is garbage, we still have to release it because we said we were going to.
This one got shifted.
It did. And I was going to bring that up. They actually, it was actually supposed to come out next year.
Right. And they switched it with, I think, the Jungle Cruise movie, didn't they?
Jungle Cruise, yeah.
Yeah, they switched the two. And I don't know if it's because they thought Maleficent would be less of a threat to Star Wars.
I think maybe they weren't completely confident in this movie. Maybe they were, but they also thought, I think they were playing up the Halloween angle.
Maybe. I mean, I was bummed they moved Jungle Cruise next year because I really want to see Jungle Cruise. It looks really good.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise actually looks decent-ish.
You know, it's something new. I mean, yeah, it's based off an attraction, but at least it's something new. This is something new, I guess, technically, but it's just, I don't know.
So they're saying that earned 117 million overseas, including 22 million in China.
Oh, surprise there, China.
22 million in China, but bombed in Japan, which is really interesting. I don't think a lot of people had any interest in the Maleficent sequel. I haven't heard any buzz. I forgot it was even coming out, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, they're doing another Maleficent. It's coming out this weekend.
It's pretty dark, too. I mean, it's not one I take my kids to see, I'll tell you that.
Well, that's what people are saying. So we're going to talk a little bit about the reviews. Now, the interesting thing about this, so before we get into that, in relation to Joker, just to put this in perspective, okay, Maleficent was a wide release. It was, PG-13. It's a Disney movie. Joker is on its third weekend. It's rated R. It made almost as much money as Maleficent did opening weekend.
Right.
On a $50 million budget versus an almost $200 million budget.
Well, Zombieland 2 opened to a $26.7 million.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty funny. It looks pretty funny. So, yeah, just to tell, this actually puts it in perspective, and I agree with Mendelsohn on this one, that, just looking, oh, you're number one, that doesn't mean much. That's like Abominable was number one a couple of weeks ago, but they were talking about how bad the DreamWorks movies are doing now, and number one at 20 million isn't great.
No,
compared to what Shrek used to do.
Especially for numbers Disney expects.
Yeah, and that's it. Disney expects every movie to be a $1 billion blockbuster, and every movie has to be, because Disney is so big and they're spinning so many plates and they got so much going on that they need every freaking cent they can get.
Well, surely the audience didn't think it was that great, right?
Yeah, so let's
talk about the BS that is Rotten Tomatoes.
So Rotten Tomatoes, this seems to be a new wrinkle to Rotten Tomatoes. Now, before, people were like, oh, Rotten Tomatoes, you can't trust the critic score, or if the critics don't like it, but the audience likes it, then, it's got to be legit, right? Because we saw what happened with Joker. We saw what happened with, I think Alita was another one where the critics were kind of tanking it. The audience liked it. Then Disney, of course, because of Captain Marvel, they changed the audience score system in their favor, basically.
That didn't happen. You're fake news.
Fake news. They changed it in their favor because they wanted only verified ticket purchasers to be able to leave reviews. So this was kind of weird because we've been hearing bad things about Maleficent. The word on the street is it's way too dark for a Disney movie. It's crazy political. It's crazy political. It's basically talking about the marginalized fairy people of the world or whatever. I haven't seen it. I don't care to see it. But whatever the deal is, people are like, this movie is not really for kids. It doesn't have a lot of broad appeal. So we're like, well, maybe this movie's really awesome because look at the audience score.
Yeah.
Let's look at the audience score. And these are verified.
It's all these 5 stars with brand.
5 stars.
It said 5 stars.
No, that's what I said. It's just all, it's just 5 star, 5 star, 5
star. And they're like not very much written. And then like, okay, I'll click on them and see what else they reviewed. Oh, wait. But
look how quickly they're coming in, too. They're coming in with
What a wonderful movie. I love the first movie, but I love this one even more. So much action, happiness, sadness. Can't wait to see it again. Effects were great. Storyline awesome, but maybe too much for ages 7 and under. Great movie to share with your family. It was great and loved the ending. It goes on. And then when you get, and then, okay, so you're like, okay, so we'll go find somebody who has an avatar that's and it's funny because, this person here actually has reviewed other movies. I checked. And he actually gave Joker 4 stars. But, you got all these people. Here's one that gave it a 0.5 star. Again, not a picture though. But I'm just saying, you can't even. I don't think this is any better because you can't.
My favorite Disney movie of all time. That's go back. Wait, that's a 5-star verified. My favorite Disney movie of all time.
Where do you see this?
Go right here at the bottom. Jalon S.
This movie is so good. My favorite Disney movie of all time. Go watch this if you haven't already. I recommend watching the first one though before this one, just to understand and remember what happened. Ignore the other reviews of people saying it's so bad. Where are the other reviews saying it's bad? It's not bad. Are they at the end, like where the first reviewers came in before these reviewers? Oh yeah, here's one. Okay, it was amazing, very captivating. Everybody talks that way, and you go, look, they don't review anything else.
Yes, something's going on. Like,
at least that one you can click on though.
I'm not saying that these are not real people.
I'm just saying it's easy to game Rotten Tomatoes.
It's yeah. I'm really starting to wonder because you're not seeing any in between. You're just you're not seeing a lot of like. These people are regulars on Rotten Tomatoes. You see a couple, but mostly it's like all 5 stars, and it's all the same. Was good movie, better than the first one, great movie. Don't miss out seeing it.
Too many characters involved and poor storyline, but they still get it 4 stars. That's good, but the visual effects and the music and the comedy were good.
But that sounds more legit-ish, and yeah, they reviewed Fantastic Four and Venom too. So
those are want-to-see movies.
Want to see movies. Well, at least they've been active on the site.
This doesn't even have a name. The person's name here was great movie. I don't know where it went, but there was one person. It was right here. It said great movie. That was their name.
This one doesn't have a name. So, the attempt to. Oh God, I'm gonna get the tinfoil mouse ears out again. So I'm starting to wonder. Critics are wrong. Don't listen to critics.
No name.
No name.
Can you go to the very last ones, like the last page?
I don't think so. I think you have to wade through them all. This is just
keep
the
going.
last
You talk while I keep looking. I'm just.
It's curious. It's curious because if I were Disney, and I were sitting back and watching YouTube, and all the YouTubers were like, "Well, you can't trust the critic score, but you can trust the audience score. The audience score is what you can trust." Disney would be like. Did you hear that? They trust the audience score. So let's figure out how to inflate the audience score because that's the one that matters now. But wait, didn't we screw that up for ourselves because we had to make sure they're verified?
Facebook You. Very heartwarming story with good, interesting characters.
Facebook You? Google says, great adventure and great characters worth watching, says Google.
I'm just keep talking. I'm just going through this.
I'm just like, I'm sorry. There's something fishy as hell about this, and I'm not saying that. I guess my thing is like I'm not saying that people can't like the movie.
They probably do, but it's just there's an awful lot of 5 stars.
There's an awful lot of 5 stars with the same kind of things. Like, don't listen to the critics. Go see the movie. This movie is great. Go see the movie. Professional critics will hate it. Go see the movie.
Whoa. This comment. I saw it and it was great, but I'm a white European American male, and that may not matter.
What?
I've now come to understand that if an entire cast is non-white, homosexual, transgender, or self-loathing, emasculated, or anti-white, white leftist, then the supposed professional critics will hate it. Well,
that's not untrue. I mean, look. Person. But then people are saying it's actually a very political movie. It's a very political movie. I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. Okay.
Good movie for kids. I'm hearing over and over again. It's kind of it skirts the edge of the rating.
So again, like I get people are like, oh my god, this is a great movie, but it just seems like there's a lot of
MCU sucks.
But this is a good movie. So let me go to the next tinfoil hat theory. So if I were Disney,
that's an awful lot of 4 and 5 stars for a movie
from Google.
I'm hearing
this is the
other
second
places isn't that great.
Like these look legit.
Look, a whole bunch of non-answered. No, there are no names too.
Yeah. So if I were Disney and I were listening to YouTube, which I know they do.
We know they listen to this.
We know they listen. If I were Disney, I would be like, gosh, we need to get that audience score up because that's the one people trust. They don't trust the reviewers.
Just don't trust Rotten Tomatoes in general. I'm just gonna say that. Can we all agree?
Yeah.
Not to even trust them at all.
Let's remind people that the CEO of Fandango, which owns Rotten Tomatoes, is a former Disney executive.
For multiple years. Many years.
Many
in many
years.
departments.
So, Rotten Tomatoes, when it comes to Disney movies, I think it's a lost cause. You're going to have to just go or take a word of mouth from people whose opinions you trust. So this was floating around today on Twitter. And we've known about this for a while. This is a Chinese social media likes farm. I'm gonna play this. So this is basically the deal. Overseas, and people like myself who have worked in marketing, okay, are familiar that there are dubious places you can go to inflate your social media numbers. Now, it's not too far of a stretch. See, like all these phones are different quote unquote people. It's not too far of a stretch to imagine that maybe a big company with millions and millions or billions of dollars on the line might want to do everything they can do to pad their chances of success. So it's possible, I'm not saying it's happening, it's possible that some movie studios might be like, well, maybe we should buy some of our own tickets and verify these accounts, and then these are all users and they're all going to leave 5 stars to get that audience score up. It's possible. It's completely possible.
No, I'm not talking about just Disney. We're talking in general.
We're talking anybody. And it's possible, knowing that this is possible, that, maybe some of those phones are being used to troll problematic YouTubers' accounts. Because I will tell you the truth, we get beep, boop, bop type comments on our YouTube videos dealing with particular subjects. Most often Disney related, and they all come.
Fair, we're doing a lot of Disney related.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like
no, it's most often Disney parks or Star Wars.
Star Wars or Disney parks. Anything negative or remotely negative, we start getting these random accounts. Most of them don't have any subscribers. A lot of them are new accounts, or they're trying to pretend to be a quote unquote alt-right incel.
They're very caricature-esque.
Yeah, they're very caricaturesque. So we get these, and they come in waves, and they come within minutes of each other. It's not like a steady trickle or people here and there. It's like, no. You'll get bombarded with like 15 or 20 of these like robo comments.
Yeah, most of them, if you respond to them, if you do, we usually ignore them. They don't answer again because they're not real. And then, it's just, they comment.
Just
I love I'm
saying.
gonna unsubscribe from you, but you don't subscribe to begin with because we can look that up.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah. So we've been kind of dealing with that, and I'm not saying this is what's going on. I'm just saying that it's getting trickier and trickier to believe.
Don't believe Rotten Tomatoes.
Don't believe Rotten Tomatoes. I don't even know if you can believe the audience score anymore. I'm starting to get to the point now where I'm like, I don't even know if you can believe the audience score, because how hard would it be to fake this?
I don't know, but to be fair, I didn't see it yet, so
No.
maybe it is really good.
Maybe
I
it
don't
is
know.
good. Who knows?
But I'm hearing from a lot of other people that it wasn't that great.
I forgot it was even coming out. So it did bomb. I have to wonder. I have to wonder now, because of that, like there's going to be increased pressure on Disney for Rise of Skywalker to overperform. Every time they have a bomb like this, for every Dumbo.
Oh yeah, they're saving it all for
Yep.
Rise of Skywalker, guaranteed.
For every Dumbo and Maleficent 2, they gotta have an end game. They gotta have, a Lion King. So yeah,
Especially now.
Yeah, especially now, because now they got Disney Plus coming. This is the kind of stuff that would have been relegated to Disney Plus, I think, had it been a little further along. We're seeing like Lady and the Tramp, that's going to Disney Plus, because it's not really a theatrical. We're right back where we're at before the direct-to-video type sequels.
Yeah, it's basically like Michael Eisner, but it's Bob
it's
Iger.
Eisner all over again. It's Iger, and I actually would argue. I think that Iger is worse about it, because it's like, Eisner was just like, okay, let's make a direct-to-video, cheap, cool, it can be ignored, whatever. Iger's like, no, let's make a series and 10 sequels and a ride.
He's so busy with his book tour right now. You go to the news, it's like all about his book tour. And his book. So it's like
yeah, he should be watching what's going on. So just to put this out there again, Joker is going to become the top grossing R-rated picture of all time. It didn't beat Maleficent, but it got damn close, and that's in its 3rd week of release. So on $50 million versus $185 million.
And it might turn out Maleficent's good. I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what people are saying as it goes on. But it was just some weirdness there. And, I'm seeing the weirdness. I'm not talking about just Disney either. I'm seeing it in other movies too. This weirdness is popping up.
There's a lot of money on the line.
With the audience scores. And I'm like, yeah, they're just people are going to look at the audience scores now. Okay, fine, we'll just cheat the audience scores too.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a lot of money on the line. There's millions of dollars, billions of dollars on the line. I mean, would it be in their best interest to spend a couple $100,000 to get people to go out there and try to boost it? Hell yeah, it's in the marketing budget. You know, yeah. I worked for an ad agency.
Yeah.
I worked for an ad agency. I know some of these tricks. I'm telling you, people. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. And if you've got deep pockets like Disney, you can do anything you want to do. Anything you want. So this is a rumor, too, speaking of tinfoil mouse ears. The rumors going around that there are going to be major reshoots to Mulan. Now, Chinese social media came out and said that that's not true.
They said it's only a couple weeks worth of reshoots.
Only a couple weeks worth of reshoots. But we have to remind you that there was a lot of backlash against the star. Now, China loves her because she was speaking out against Hong Kong. But I have to wonder how American audiences are going to take to her.
I don't really think American audiences are as invested in all that. I mean, a lot of people are. I just think they're going to be more like, people are mad about Mushu. They're really pissed about Mushu.
I think they're like, people are expecting a Disney remake to be pretty much the same movie, just in live action. I think people want the music. There's no music.
No, it's not musical.
There's no Mushu. So
I think they could have forgiven the music. They're just mad about Mushu.
They want Mushu. So I don't think we're going to get Mushu, though.
No,
I don't think we're going to get Mushu.
Mushu and Cricket probably.
We're not going to get them. But the rumor is that they were doing major reshoots, but now those reports are false, according to Chinese social media. They said that is not happening.
So who knows? But, if it's Disney, it most likely does have a lot of reshoots.
That's the thing. So, this is coming from a smaller Disney fan blog, but who knows? It made the rounds the other day. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I think at this point, I think these movies, Disney is manufacturing these movies to play to as large of an audience as possible. And we know for 100% certainty that The Rise of Skywalker had extensive reshoots. We don't know how extensive they were, but it was 100%, proven.
Yeah, it was reshoots.
Yeah, they admitted it. And we're talking like 2 months out because they can't afford for this movie to fail. But it might fail anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love Mulan, so I'm hoping it doesn't. It's my favorite. So I'm like, please don't suck. Please don't suck.
I don't know. At this point, I think they pretty much were scraping the bottom of the barrel for live action adaptations. They've already played the big movies. I mean, we got Lion King, we got Aladdin, both in the same year. We got Beauty and the Beast. They're doing The Little Mermaid, which, speaking of China, I don't think they're real happy about The Little Mermaid not being a redhead. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Disney, I think, we're going back to the Maleficent screenwriter, her comments that Disney needs to actually innovate again and not just, regurgitate the same thing, remake the same thing. And they're going to run out. The well's going to run dry eventually. And I think it's already starting to.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's already starting to. So we'll see how Star Wars does. I think that's going to be the big one. And if
it's gonna be something.
If it does not perform well, that's going to be really interesting because they are banking on it.
But good news, trailer's tomorrow, and what tickets go on sale after the trailer, I think.
Yeah, and they'll be sold out immediately because Disney will make sure of it.
Ticket sales ever for any movie ever, more than anything.
Just remember, everybody. Solo had record-breaking Fandango ticket sales.
Every stinking one of their movies have record-breaking Fandango ticket sales. Have you noticed this?
Fandango CEO used to work for Disney. I just want to put that out there. Solo, which was a bomb, had record-breaking pre-sales.
And Rotten Tomatoes seems to love everything Disney puts out. So
just tinfoil mouse ears. A lot of money on the line. So, I'm not going to go see this movie.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by this down here Hollywood flashback before listening to Michelle Pfeiffer was Lady Hawk. No one ever talks about Lady Hawk.
Nobody talks about Lady Hawk. No.
I like Lady Hawk.
Kind of got
no one ever talks about Lady Hawk. Lady Hawk's a good one. You should go watch that. Anyway.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants on Clownfish TV. This is Neon and Geeky.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.